Too bad it took 6 episodes for the Acolyte to get half decent. A lot of people checked out already, and maybe it's not a good idea to try to be clever in your show setup and, just give us good episodes in the beginning. But anyway, it's up to you, showrunners. I'm not one. This is a review of Champions, and I'm your host, Grandmaster. With me is a powerful panel made up of the finest champions Cigar has to offer. Let me introduce them to you. Voice only, we have Mr. Lord Deathman. How are you this evening, sir?
I am doing well. The force is with me.
Well, at least the force is with someone.
Right?
Yeah. Lucasfilm, not so much. On camera, of course, we have Mr. Taylor first, the original. How are you?
I'm good.
And Merv, beautiful man. How are you, man?
Fantastic.
It's good to hear, man. Today, we're going to talk about episode 6 called Teach Corrupt of the Acolyte. But before we do, I want to ask you all to help us out. Like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. I keep repeating that, but do it. If you can't get enough of us, join our ranks. Go to Cigar at cigar.freeforms.net. Set up an account and join our community. Come on, you can do it. It's in the description down below. There's a link. Click it. Consider this your final warning. After this point, the spoilers are incoming. So if you haven't seen this week's episode yet, go do that first and then check out our review. After that action-packed episode 5, we got exposition episode 6. I find the lack of balance a little bit disturbing. And so do you agree with that, Mr. Taylor first?
There's a lack of balance in the Force, exactly. I mean, the episode itself, by itself, I found it somewhat interesting. I thought it was kind of good. But as far as a chapter in this series, I just don't think it did very much to move the series along. I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to do some character development here, but a whole episode of just verbal character development, I don't think it quite hit the mark for me.
I get where you're going, Lord Deathman. This was a filler episode, isn't it? They took a whole episode of half an hour just to set up the reveal that we were going to get next week, because we had to make 8 episodes. If they had made 7, they could have skipped this one, right?
Yeah, this felt like one of those episodes of Friends that's like not quite as funny as the others because something sort of serious happens in it. And now you have to take these people who have been telling jokes for the last umpteen years and like look at them dramatically. I know we deal in positivity, and trying to be objective here on the podcast of Champions, but they've had 6 episodes to deliver on something material to make good on any payoff to move this story along, and they have failed at it miserably. This was a terrible episode, and I'll be happy to expand on that when we do the deep dive.
Oh, no worries. You get every chance. Just keep it nice and short. No need to repeat yourself. Merv.
They did, so it shouldn't be too hard for me.
Okay. Merv, do you agree with the sentiment so far that it wasn't that overall the episode was okay-ish, but it was not needed, too little, too late?
Yeah. My thoughts were objectively there wasn't anything like totally awful about this episode, but it would have been better placed as like an episode 2, not an episode 6 moving towards the finale. You know what I mean? This is the stuff, I feel like this would have been a great lead in for the stuff that we would have wanted out of the show to progress towards, not as we're wrapping this thing up, we're going to throw this in now. This feels just like, what is this? Like the story's almost over. You know what I mean?
No.
We don't need this now. But,
so do you think the showrunner is just trying to be clever and maybe overstepped, or how do you say that? Overplayed their hand?
Yes. I think I said it on the board. I think they overestimated how patient a fan base would be to get any information at all regarding the story that we're supposed to be caring about. This episode was kind of split into two things. One of them is completely pointless, and the other one was okay, but it's just there's nothing really there. It's again I've heard it mentioned as a nothing burger. It's an absolute nothing burger of an episode in a show that has become like the fake food from the movie Hook. You know, like I don't have the imagination to actually create something edible here. You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. When you have a burger, at least put some lettuce, onions, sauce, cheese, bacon, whatever, not just meat on the bun. But anyway, Lord Deathman, I'm gonna let you rant, but
It's not going to be a rant. I really,
you're beyond
to
that.
say that they've, yeah, like
You're not even
if I
angry
rant,
anymore. You're just sad.
right? Like that means I care, but I'm just so checked out of this show as a story that's engaging me on any kind of level. It's just bad. I don't know what to say. I thought, maybe Manny Jacinto, however you pronounce his last name, is doing the best acting in this episode. But the material he's being given is just so wildly bad and almost like why am I watching a Sith Lord like take a dip to like take all his clothes off and walk into the I don't know that anybody signs up for that when they watch Star Wars. And we've seen a lot of romance in Star Wars. That's fine. But like this guy's walking into, this taking a bath or whatever it is he's doing, and then May's behind him like she just found the latest thirst trap on TikTok. She doesn't know whether to stab the man or make an indecent proposal. OSHA, doesn't know whether to knife the man or who cares at this point?
Yeah, she wasn't
Both
in.
twins are
She wasn't in to fight that saber.
Right. There's one saber she seemed to have to think twice about. It's embarrassing. It's just really really bad. I find like I was just kind of waiting for any kind of payoff on any one of these mysteries. And just as they're about to make the promise of solving one at the end, he's literally tying down May and he says, yeah, you're going to listen to what I have to say about what happened all those years ago. And then smash cut to credits. I mean, come on, guys. 6 episodes in and we're still doing this. Does anyone think they're really going to be able to pay off any of these mysteries in the last 2 episodes in a way that redeems the show for all the sort of fandom blue balls it gives? I'm just not there with it anymore. I've tried to give Amanda Stenberg a chance as an actress, but this is just a totally flat performance. She might as well be a tree or acting with trees. That whole thing where she puts the saber to his neck and it's supposed to be a real moment of jeopardy and she has a choice to make. It read as like elementary school kids could have been doing that in a school play. And I hate to be this harsh, but that's how low the stakes were in terms of her deliverance of it. If this was Daisy Ridley, I would have believed that she might have decapitated that guy, but not this actress. She just doesn't have it. And hope she gets it someday, but that day is not today. So I do want to say in closing on this not so deep dive that I do believe there should be a spin-off series to this with Master Kalnaka and those Colossus Wasps. Because those Colossus Wasps are the most beleaguered animals in all of Star Trek. You go into their home and it's like the challenge is to find a novel way to kill them. Do I want to kill them in the air? Do I want to shoot them? Do I want to hack them in half as they're coming towards me? Do I want to use a lightsaber whip to kill these creatures? I'm more invested in their plight than any other BS or mystery or conspiracy that's going on the show. Master Vershana and her Padawan, who he should go fetch her a latte. That guy seemed so ineffectual. I'm like, are you really training in a cult of Jedi? And you want to know if your master needs her motion sickness pills? I can't do it, man. I'm done.
Okay, I'm all good with you destroying this show from to the. But if you ever associate this with Star Trek again, I will be very upset because you said Star Trek instead of Star Wars, and I get it, but no.
Well, give me credit. We were just on a Star Trek show, so
That's
forgive me for
true.
misspeaking.
That's true.
we were just taping a Star Trek show, but apologies to all involved.
Yeah, but the quality of this show is even worse than Discovery. But anyway,
Absolutely.
yeah, but we will discover that later. But anyway, Merv, do you have any idea what the finale is going to be? Because next week we get exposition episode 7, because then they're going to show all the things that happened on that planet and stuff like that. Explain, probably Osha may find out that the Jedi did them dirty, and you know what, whatever. But what is the finale going to be? I mean, I have absolutely no clue.
I mean, the only thing I can guess is just confrontation between Saul, Kamir, the twins, probably Snake Lady. And I don't know what it's going to resolve, because there's so many questions that are still up in the air that they haven't even answered. Like, they just, you know, there's an episode, I don't know if anyone who's watched the American version of The Office, but there's an episode where Michael is telling a story that everyone actually wants to hear, and he is milking it for every second that it's worth. He's like, so I ran to the door, and it wasn't a push door, it was a turnstile. And they're just like, get to the point. And I feel like I'm like that with there's so many aspects of this that they could just give us any answer for. I mean, there's how many questions are out there? Like, they haven't answered any one of them except who's the person in the mask. Like, that's literally the only answer that they've given us that is anywhere satisfactory. And even that was like a fart in the wind, like, because it was so expected and it was so on the nose. I just don't know why they don't give us anything. Like, this would have been a fine episode to at least resolve, like, well, why did Osha leave the Jedi Order? She says, because I failed. What does that mean? That's so vague and like nonsense, you know? And that's all this show has been, is just this vague nothingness that, like, you have to fill in your own blanks. Like, what is this? Like, we're not just like this nameless protagonist, you know, trying to live in like we're not a video game character here, like trying to live generally through their lives. Like, give me some information so I can care about these characters or the story that's wrapping around them. Like, and we don't have any of that, you know? And so I actually forgot all about the third, like, plot arc in this episode, which was Vernestra and the Jedi coming. It just was so insignificant. I didn't even notice that the lightsaber was a whip until I watched a review on it after the fact. That's how flat that fell for me. I didn't even notice it. I was just like, she killed a bug. These poor bugs, you know? But I didn't even see the light whip saber, and I totally forgot it was a thing for this series. And there was some like, I guess I like the idea of Kamir, like, corrupting Osha, if that's what that was going towards. But again, I just feel like it's too late in the show for this to start. Like, this should have happened in episode 1 or 2 for it to be a factor. Then it would have been kind of interesting and actually probably lived up to, or at least from a general sense, lived up to the presentation of the show, which was following the dark side, you know, like seeing how the dark side lives. But now it's like, so we're going to get probably a flashback episode next episode. And then, so it's not like we're going to see Osha like really live out her life as a dark side character, or even May for that matter. I don't even know what May and Saul are doing in this episode. I could care less about what was going on there. I was like, how can he be this dumb? And then she gets into like this Three Stooges fight with Basil and Pip, the droid. And I'm just like, I don't know what this is. This is totally, if this was a Three Stooges style show, I would have been fine with it. But like, it just felt so out of place. It just came out of nowhere just to be a goofy thing with an antagonist who is undercover and about to kill Saul. Or is she? Because that seems to be a struggle that the character herself seems to be unsure what she's doing. Like, she's got a knife in her hand. Oh, she doesn't. Now she's flying the ship. Now she's requesting help from the Jedi. What is happening? What is going on? I don't know what's happening with so many of these characters. And I wanted to care, but with each week, it just becomes less and less. Like I don't even when the reveals finally happen, I don't even know if I'll care. Like I'm so over like all these characters should probably just die, and I hope there's not a season 2, and just move on to something better. Make something better. Make Andor season 2, because this one's kind of a waste.
Taylor, I have a feeling that both Lord Deathman and Merv do not have any hope that the last 2 episodes will redeem this show. To put it mildly, do you have any hope that the last 2 episodes of this show will redeem it or not?
There's going to be some big stuff in the last 2 episodes. Saul is going to tell us what happened. Finally.
And then?
Osha is going to learn how to block a force push, and she will use that to save the day.
Okay.
And so, I don't know, someone will die.
Okay.
At this point, I'm not sure who. Now, like Merv said at the beginning, there's nothing wrong, quote unquote, with this episode. In fact, I found a lot of the acting to be good, especially Kamir. And I thought his character was pretty interesting. I wish, make a show about him or something,
This was supposed to be a show about him.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. But like everyone said, this isn't moving the story anywhere. As far as spin-offs go, I wish Jackie had survived and they did a spin-off of her finishing her training and becoming a full-fledged Jedi Knight and having her own adventures. That would have been
The Acolyte season 2, The Search for Jackie.
Oh God. The Force Genesis torpedo. No. But I have a different take on this episode. I watched this episode very carefully, and I believe that there was in fact a secret guest director for this episode, and I think it was in fact Quentin Tarantino. My first clue was Osha's feet being front and center. But my second clue was the whole structure of this episode, how it kept jumping to different pairs of people having inane conversations and all hiding something from each other during these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And my final clue was when Basil tried to hump May's leg. I knew that had to be a Tarantino flourish there. Yeah, at this point, like Marvin and Lord Deathman said, if Osha in like episode 2 found out that her sister is alive and then started questioning herself, and then her sister brought her in, introduced her to her master, and then they started pulling her to the dark side from that point on, and Saul was trying to find her and save her from this fate. Maybe we'd have a story. Maybe we'd have a show here, as opposed to walking through the woods, killing bugs, Wookiees dying off screen, and then having an entire episode of conversations in caves and on beaches and in spaceships about space sickness and you look pretty good when you're naked there, Darth, whatever your freaking name is. And it's kind of bad because, like I said, the guy playing Darth or Mr. Jacinto, whatever his name is, the guy playing the Sith, seems like a really good actor to me. And I think he's doing a pretty good job with, the 2 scenes, basically 2 scenes that we've seen him in at this point since his, reveal of his true nature. But again, what are they going to do in the next 2 episodes? Do I care? Again, we're going to find out that the Jedi were somehow responsible for the deaths of those witches who we don't even think about anymore. I mean, do we even remember that episode about the power of many or whatever it was? Are we going to find out that the Sith lady with the whip was Kamir's master or something, or has some other connection to this in some way? Maybe, but at this point, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know who she is anyway. Yeah, they're just not building. They're just not building tension in the story. And again, the amazing thing, like I mentioned, about in our very first, when we reviewed the first 2 episodes, how I wasn't concerned about the length of the episodes because it's just a matter of pacing. And like I said, I think the original Twilight Zone probably could have done this whole season in a 25-minute episode, and they would have told a better story than what we're getting so far in these first 6 episodes. I just don't know if the showrunners don't care, if they're just dropping the ball, if there's behind the scenes stuff causing issues. Whatever. I don't, whatever. I'm just a viewer here, and what they're giving me is not peak Star Wars by any means.
No, I agree. We can discuss this at length, but I actually don't want to. I just want to go move on to a rating, and just get it over with. Merv, can I have your number?
I will give it a 3 out of 10. I'm back down to the 3s, and a large portion of that 3, I think, is Manny Jacinto's acting, as opposed to everything else. At this point, it's the only thing that that's the only character I'm even slightly interested in. The actor for Saul is okay, but I just don't know where that storyline's going, and it's easier to understand the evil guy. So stick with him. 3 out of 10.
There's not much wrong with this episode in basis, but still 3 out of 10. So that says something. Taylor.
Yeah, I agree with Merv. The actor for Soul is pretty good. I wish they would give him something worthwhile to say, so that we can enjoy his acting.
Next episode, he's gonna tell May what happened.
She's tied down unless the power goes out again right before he spills the beans, and we have to wait till the next episode.
She's tied down, so she can't put her ears in her fingers in her ears. So she has to listen to him.
She could force block him.
Oh, that's true. The power of many. Anyway, but can I have your number?
Yeah, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's a wash.
Okay, Lord Deathman, I'm afraid to ask, but I still am going to. Can I have your number?
I know. These are dark times, uncertain times. This is a first for me on the show. This episode gets a 1. I think the Parent Trap called, and they want their plot back. 1 out of 10.
Yeah, even though I thought this was one of the better episodes, but I can't see this loose from the rest, and so I'm going to join Merv on the dark side with the 3 out of 10. Yeah. We're gonna stick with this series, people. We're gonna finish the job, we promise. But know that it is hard to do. But anyway, this will conclude this week's review of Champions for episode 6 of the Acolyte. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion today. Actually, we did, but not in a good way. If you did, you can help us out by liking and sharing this review, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join our forum at sakar.freeforums.net. Do that, please. Again, there's a link in the description below. Check out episode 7 of the Star Trek Project, where we review and discuss Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. It drops this weekend as well. So that's much better. Much better. Anyway, for now, I thank you all, also on behalf of our champions, and wish the Force to be with you always. Bye.